we can start. So you don't need to see us, just hear us. So I'm good with that. Welcome, everybody. This is Spirits with Spirits. My name's Jazz with Giving Up the Ghost podcast, and I am with...
Hi, guys. I'm Ashley from Winnipeg Paranormal Group. Thank you so much for adjusting your time tonight and coming out at 8 o'clock rather than 7. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we do appreciate it. Honestly, we do. And the parking situation, too. So, again, my name's Jazz. I'm with Giving Up the Ghost podcast. We're Winnipeg's first and only paranormal podcast. If you've been out before, you've heard me say it a million times, and I'll say it again. We've been doing this 7.5 years, and we're downloaded in 43 countries. And most recently, last July, we were feedspot.com's best Canadian paranormal podcast. So we're quite often in the top 10, kind of proud about that. And we're also in the top 45 of the best Winnipeg podcasts. So usually number 8 or something like that. So anyway, we love to collect stories. We love to hear stories. Winnipeg and Manitoba are haunted AF. So we love to research and share what we hear. Me and my partner share, and that's what we do. And in our travels, ooh, disco. That's okay. Woo. And in our travels, we were fortunate enough to bump into Ashley and Kelly with the Winnipeg Paranormal Group. And we started hanging out with them, doing Spirits with Spirits. We go on their ghost investigations. We record it with them. They're just really cool people. So, yeah. So tonight, we have a special guest with us. We have Michelle Leray with Spirit Guided Path. She is a psychic medium, and she is also a registered death doula, and we want to hear more about it. Thank you so much again, Michelle, for joining us on a late night. But we're honored to have you, and definitely very intrigued, and we want to know more information as to what it is, how you got into this, what you do. I know you're a little introverted, so I'm so sorry for putting you on the spot. I appreciate whatever time you can give us.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
No problem. You might want to put the...
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, feel free to pull it out if you want.
Yeah, so we'll just ask you some questions, and then we'll take questions from the audience. I'm sure people are intrigued as to what it is that you provide and what you do. So as far as starting as a psychic medium, how long have you had the gift to be able to interact?
Well, I actually don't view it as a gift. I view it as a skill, and it's something that I know I was born with, which means that I feel like I've been working on this for many lifetimes, and so in this lifetime in particular, it looks like it comes very naturally, which I'm grateful for because it gives me the ability to help others unlock this potential within themselves.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. And as far as your I wouldn't want to say practice, but what the services that you provide for people, like do you do, is it just like, do you use personal possessions for readings?
Oh, no. Everything is all energy based. So I connect with people all over the world, and I connect them with their loved ones and their spirit guides, both human and animal companion, and very grateful to do that. It helps people because I'm also trained in grief counseling, and so working with people in deep early grief has really helped me to connect with them in a way that helps them to kind of work with and through their grief as opposed to avoiding it, and having that confirmation that their loved ones are perfectly fine, and watching over them, encouraging them, offering insight and guidance makes a huge difference for how they face that time.
And I read earlier, I'm totally blown away. You help people connect with their beloved pets that passed over the rainbow.
Oh, absolutely. Animal companions love to connect just like humans do, and it's amazing the messages they can give. And the thing with mediumship is all about validation and ensuring that, it's not just saying that they're here, but they provide very real images and memories and so much more that helps the sitter, is what we call them, the person receiving the reading, to know that without a shadow of a doubt that these loved ones, both animal and human, are absolutely with them.
Nice, very nice. And how have you been developing your skill to connect with animals? Is that been as long as you've
Oh,
been
absolutely. Yeah, it's exactly the same as connecting with humans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as far as animals, like I'm thinking not just cats and dogs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, horses, Oh yeah, everyone. I think I connected with a bunny once.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure an iguana or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have a question?
Well, I'm actually interested in what exactly a death doula is.
Absolutely. So, as a death doula, I help people and their loved ones before, during, and after death, meaning that I help them to prepare, to talk about it. You know, we can do the logistical stuff, so advanced care planning, learning about what options there are for burial or cremation, as there are more options than most people realize, and even just working to understand the non-medical aspects of pain relief, guided visualization, helping people talk about and prepare for that time of transition, helping their loved ones know what to look for and how to help support in the best possible way. And then, of course, there's the vigiling, so if they want me to be present to help that person, you know, I always tell them I'll go as far as I can with you, and then you're going to have to go the rest of the way, but by that point, you have your loved ones and animal companions waiting for you, so,
Right.
yeah.
So the mediumship and the death doula part kind of go hand in hand for you.
For me, yes, absolutely, yeah.
As far as being a death doula, I saw that you are certified.
Well, there is no certification in that sense.
But you went for training. didn't you?
Oh yeah, we all went for training, but there's no governing body. But so it basically means that everyone that is a death doula who has had training has a certificate of completion, and we have what is called the End of Life Doula Association of Canada. So I'm the only Manitoban that's a member with them right now.
Okay.
But last year I founded Death Doulas of Manitoba, and so I actually have created a program that is recognized by the End of Life Doula Association of Canada, and I'm very grateful to be training death doulas all over Canada.
Very nice. Yeah, very impressive. And as far as like the response that you've had in Manitoba?
Every session so far has sold out within weeks, and I'm booking into winter and spring for the classes right now for next year. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. And do you find, I don't know if you're privy to say information, like is it other people that have like mediumship psychic ability or what?
Some are interested in that, and I do find that people who feel called to work with the dying and the bereaved do tend to have a higher level of sensitivity usually. But not always. It's not a prerequisite by any means,
Right,
but
right.
often they do go hand in hand for a lot of people.
Oh, okay. Like do you have like morticians or funeral directors?
Oh yeah, lots. Like I've worked with people who are like either therapists or nurses. Palliative care nurses sometimes come to the doula side after a while. And,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people have heard of like a doula, like a birth doula,
Yes.
but just the uniqueness of a death doula. I mean, that's and I mean, people have to trust you. So I mean, that's a very honored position to have with
Very
a
much.
family, right?
Very much. Yeah, it's not very common yet. Like it's definitely gaining momentum in the province in terms of people hiring death doulas. I've been doing that for over 6 years now, and definitely it's gained a lot of momentum since I first started. But of course, people are wary because they don't know what we do, and in our what we call a death-denying society, most people don't want to talk about death and dying. So,
Right.
just trying to educate and offer information and resources has been, immensely helpful for a lot of people.
So, you talk about like people might sound wrong, but on death's door, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can somebody who's healthy come and talk to you about how to plan for that type of stuff?
Anybody can talk to a death doula at any time. Exactly, because we're not just helping people die well. We're actually helping people live life to the fullest for as long as possible, and having everything prepared, because you don't know. You don't have to wait for a life-limiting illness to start planning, because it helps to know your options and to have your healthcare proxy decided and your advanced care plan figured out in case anything does happen, and then everything is ready for your loved ones, and they don't have to make really huge decisions under extreme duress.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense, really. And when you're working with families, and then you're able to provide that comfort after the fact, right? So the before and after care for the loved ones that are still here that are still confused. But I'm sure in your line of work with being a death doula, being present before and then after it probably takes, I mean, everybody grieves their own way, different ways, and it's not to say that the family's not going to grieve, but I'm sure it gives them that much more comfort in knowing that you're able to provide that for them.
Like in terms of the mediumship, you mean? Or
just connecting after the fact.
And of course, and the thing is, as a medium, I don't like to connect until at least 4 to 6 months after a significant loss, because I want to give people time to start their grieving process. When done too soon, it can actually be not so good for the person.
Okay.
So some people might disagree, and that's okay, but I've been doing this for a very, very long time, and I recommend, and I teach all of my students, because I also teach mediumship as well, that it makes sense. We're in the physical world. We need to start the physical aspect of grieving before we start to connect with that side. And people say, oh, is it because they can't connect? They can absolutely connect quite quickly. It has nothing to do with the spirit side of things. It's just when it's done too soon, it can just be a bit too much for someone who's grieving deeply.
Right. Do you ever have, I mean, I don't want to ask any questions that are going to offend.
That's okay.
I'm just kind of like that. Do you ever find that after you've worked with a family, that the spirit of the departed person has come to visit you and try to connect with you after the fact?
They might come say hi and say thank you, but they have a lot to do over there. They don't really need to hang around me for too long.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was just curious. You got nothing?
I got nothing right now.
Does anybody have any questions for Michelle?
Yes.
You just said they have a lot to do. What are they doing?
Living. They're absolutely living over there. Okay, well, if we want to get into it. And again, I mean, I'm not putting my beliefs on anyone else. I've just been doing this for a very long time, but we originate from there. So this is the place we're coming to temporarily. When we go back home, which is where I call the spirit world, we just continue living. So whatever you're doing here, you continue on, and you continue to learn, to grow, to attend symphonies and events and parties and socialize. Anything that you can do here, you're doing over there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
I find that some people have dreams of their lost ones sooner than others.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason why some loved ones come to some people sooner than others in dreams?
It's not so much that they come sooner, and there's a huge difference between dreaming and visitation. So when it's a dream, you don't really feel anything. It's more like, oh, I saw something, and but when you wake up and you think of that moment and you can feel the love and you feel the peace and you just kind of have this inner knowing that you absolutely connected with them, that's a real visitation, because that's what we're doing when we're sleeping. We're in spirit, connecting with our loved ones. So it's not that others come sooner to their loved ones, it's that some people just don't remember for whatever reason. It might be that they were doing something in spirit with them that they just wouldn't be able to consciously, understand while they're awake here in the physical world. So normally if someone says, oh, I haven't seen them, I haven't felt them, I let them know that more than likely they absolutely have, they just don't remember, if that makes sense.
Thank you. Oh, another question?
In your Death Doula training, was it mostly focused on the physical aspect?
Like the training I took or the training I teach?
The training you took to get where you are?
Yeah. I would say probably about 80% was focused, more on the physical side of things. And then there was a little bit about, I guess not so much ritual, but, other stuff for sure. But in the training that I teach, it's very focused on, mind, body, spirit.
Can I do a follow-up question?
Of course.
And then from that, the training you had, when you communicate that to people, how do they react hearing about physical?
What do you mean, like how when they ask about how it feels to die, like? Okay. So a lot of clients, depends on at what point they involve me in their care. So if they're 3 months out, they might be much more willing to listen to what they're likely to feel as those days come up. If we're a year out, they might not be ready. And so I always offer options. I never force those conversations on anyone, but I usually tell them when you're ready to talk about that, and they usually let me know. When they're ready to talk about it, they're actually very grateful for that conversation, because no one else has had that conversation with them and they didn't know what to expect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? No? You also, in your practice, you do Reiki as well, correct?
Yes, I'm a Reiki master, so I teach and provide Reiki sessions, which is basically energy healing.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's really helpful for palliative care too, like to help people prepare for death.
And it probably takes a lot of pressure off the body, right?
It can be very calming and peaceful for sure, yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. I had it done once. It's actually pretty cool. I mean, I'm not saying everybody can or can't do it, but I guess you kind of just have to relax, right? Like the person who's doing it, you can't, if you're all uptight and tense, it's probably not going to work as good, right?
Well, it's going to work as well as someone is basically willing to allow it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Cool. Anything else? No?
Sorry, my brain isn't working today.
No, I know. It's all foggy with
It's
the
a
rain.
long day.
So with respects to have you worked with your own family? Like, have you, yeah?
Yeah, I work with people that I know. I work with friends and their families, and a lot of people who I've worked with have become friends, and I've been working with them ever since.
Nice.
I'm just grateful to do the work that I do. It does, it makes a huge difference to be able to walk that path with people and hold space for everyone that is grieving. Sometimes people feel very shut down in their grief, so I offer free sessions 10 months out of the year. So I do every bi-weekly I offer guided meditations online, and then once a month I offer a free grief circle as well as a death cafe, which I'm a death cafe facilitator as well, which is just a safe space to talk about death and dying, and for people to ask questions because they might not have anyone to talk about it with, and sometimes people are just curious.
Right. Or even like when the subject of spirits and ghosts come up. I mean, some families, they shut down and they don't really allow for it, whereas this would be an atmosphere that people are allowed to speak their mind or how they feel.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you also said that you work with people right around the world. Can you give us an idea of like what countries? Like
Oh gosh, all of them. I work with a lot of people, obviously, in the States, South America, a lot of people in Europe. For some reason, I've had a lot of people from Italy and Poland find me. I don't know why, but so sometimes we have translators, and that's fun. I've worked with people in Scotland, Ireland, England, Australia quite a bit. Some Asian countries as well, and Turkey, and yeah.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been great.
How you're able to get around the world, so to say. So,
Do you have a piece of advice that you give to everybody when they come to you? Like, just kind of a general...
It's hard to say because it really depends on what they're coming to me for. I don't know. I don't have. Well, okay. I guess one thing I could say is, especially because I work with a lot of people that are trying to heal. Whether it's from grief or physically, and I always tell people that every choice you make is either bringing you closer to or further from the life that you're trying to build.
that's really good. I like that. Makes sense. Oh, question?
Yeah, so I've had lots of friends who are birth doulas, and I've watched, they sometimes have like a structure that they do. I've watched some of them who care a lot, kind of, so they'll have a structure where they have like 3 meetings and then the birth, and I watched some of them who care so much, kind of like just give so much of their time. I'm thinking with death, like, how are you able to balance that? Because I imagine that if somebody's dying and they're kind of like looking to you for guidance, how do people not need you 24/7?
Well, it depends on the person, but usually, if there's a few months or even a whole year, they might see me once a month, and then, yes, as we get closer, it can go up to, 2 or 3 times a week until, we're really close. And sometimes too, because not everybody is comfortable having, someone who isn't really close family there for the vigil. Death is a very private, personal thing, right? It's a very sacred transition. So sometimes I'm even just, texting or calling or on a FaceTime with the loved ones to let them know that what's happening is normal, and this is a normal anticipated outcome that they're experiencing, so that they can just be present instead of them panicking and calling an ambulance when it's something that's very natural and normal in the dying process. Yeah, just trying to support people however they're willing without pushing in, because I respect that it's such a personal, sacred experience.
For sure. Interesting. Oh,
I
question.
have a question. So if family contacts you to help somebody move over, is there a charge?
Well, it depends. If I'm if someone messages me or calls me and they're already in the thick of it and they're just panicking, I will help them without even mentioning a cost, of course. But if I'm brought in, weeks and months ahead of time, then yes, they have to pay for my time because I'm providing a skill and bringing in experience that like the other people don't have, right? And like anything, that requires an exchange of time and energy. But no, I absolutely, if someone called and needed help immediately, and I can offer that for the next 30 minutes to an hour, and often I'll say though that people are usually so grateful for that help that weeks later they'll send in a little donation just because I could show up in a way that maybe they didn't have otherwise. And I'm very grateful for that.
Thing or something where they ask you to come maybe once a month because this person is getting worse and worse. So just trying to.
Yeah. So when I have new clients, I just give them a rundown of all the things I can offer, and then create like a little package for them, and they can have me as involved or as little, because sometimes they don't want someone someone to be present all the time, but they want those resources and the support. Sometimes I host family meetings because not everybody's on board with everything. So just trying to get everybody as on the same page as possible so that everybody feels as comfortable as one possibly could moving forward with that process.
Okay.
Cool. Oh.
And then how do people get a hold of you?
They usually find me on Facebook or Instagram or my website, so you can find me at The Spirit Guided Path or Death Doulas of Manitoba.
Okay.
We have a couple more questions over here.
Sorry, that's too intrusive, but are you there physically at the end?
Sometimes, yeah, it really depends on the person, and I mean, sometimes we have to understand, like, death isn't always very predictable in that sense. So if somebody has a very specific diagnosis, and I'm very used to the trajectory, but then sometimes something out of nowhere happens, and then all of a sudden it's over, and that can be very shocking to the family, but I do prepare them for that potential outcome. So if possible, and if they want me there, I'm absolutely going to be there if I can be, but sometimes it's just not possible because it happens so suddenly and unexpectedly.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you ever, not advertise isn't the right word, but tell funeral homes about your service? Because I went through major loss, and the funeral home was my major outlet for what to do and navigate things. And then, because I don't remember how I connected. At some point, they offered therapeutic services, which didn't work out so great. But if they had offered maybe a Death Doula service, that could have maybe been an option I could have consulted at some point. Is that something that maybe you guys are looking into, or is it too touchy?
I would love that, but there's I guess maybe a common misconception that maybe we're infringing on, maybe stepping on toes, which isn't the case. Death doulas are not at all stepping on the toes of nurses or volunteers, which I'm also a palliative Manitoba volunteer, so I've been doing that for a long time as well. And we're certainly not, stepping on the toes of funeral directors or anything like that, but that's a very specific industry, and because I would love that, and some do actually. The more independent ones, I might be on their website. I do work with, there's a veterinary service that has me listed as well to help help with the emotional side of animal companion loss. I think as things grow, that might happen more and more, but not right now, no.
I can see how people might misconstrue the service.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Was there any other question? I thought so. Oh, yes.
I was going to say, imagine you help people who are either surrounded by family and friends in a whole circle of loved ones, and also people who maybe don't have many people in their life. Either they've outlived all their friends and loved ones, or they've just ostracized, or who knows. Is there a different energy to the proceedings?
Very much, yeah. When there's a lot of family involved, they don't really need me for the, a lot of the care, I guess. Again, the thing with Death Doulas is we're non-physical, and we're non-medical. So even if I was to be asked to do some level of respite, it'd be more of an emotional, mental respite or spiritual. I can't give medications, for instance. And no death doula can give medications, nothing like that. Even the ones that were nurses, because it's a very different role. It's a non-medical role. But yes, for someone that, if I'm working with people who don't have a lot of support, then I might be more involved with the emotional side of things. Versus if someone has a lot of family, often what the dying person wants is to get everybody on board, because there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen and everyone wants to do it a certain way. So it really depends on the situation. They're all so very different, but a death doula definitely has very specific roles no matter what's going on.
Yeah. Up front, we'll go up front here.
Yeah. So I was wondering if you've had any experiences with MAID.
Oh, yeah.
And because I guess if you're similar to a birth doula, you're helping people navigate the medical system, is what you're saying. So you kind of tell them what certain things might be coming up, or what doctors say mean when they say stuff, because doctors don't think about people understanding; they just say things. Have you had any experience with MAID, and what are your personal feelings?
Well, with MAID, so that's medical assistance in dying, I do remain quite neutral on it. I know that there's a lot of misinformation out there. People will say that a lot of different things, which again, my role is to support people who are dying. And so as of right now, the only people that can access MAID are people who are terminally ill and who have no chance of meaningful recovery. That is the law. And of course, I can't speak to the full extent of the law because I'm not a lawyer, but I just want to put it out there, disclaimers. But yes, I have supported people who have chosen MAID and provided, just a safe space for them to talk about it, to help them talk with their loved ones. While people might not always agree with it, I have found that the ones that have gone through it, it has been a very peaceful and easy process. And it's not something that you can just have the next day. There is a very specific, not only requirements, but there's a number of meetings and all of that. Again, I'm not for or against it. That's not my role. My role is to support the people who are dying, and they're going to die regardless.
So would you bring it up in early meetings with them? Because I believe you have to have a plan with your doctor, and then you enact the plan that you had. You can't just suddenly be like, it's time.
Right, so usually in early meetings, I'll ask if their doctor has brought it up or if they would like to discuss it at all, but I don't bring it up as an option I'm presenting to them. It's more like, do you have questions, and would you like to talk about that so you understand it, or I can make sure you have the resources to understand it. So some people are just like, nope, not interested, perfectly fine, we won't talk about it again. Others have said, I would like to understand it better. And oftentimes too, especially with people that might, there's certain illnesses that have been known to be quite, maybe uncomfortable at the end. So some people will get approved for MAID, but they just won't go through with it. And for them, it actually helps them to calm down quite a bit and feel less anxious, because they know it's there if they need it, and they can actually go through the natural dying process without that worry of not being able to access it at the end if they really needed it.
That makes sense, yeah. Oh, actually, the lady back there had a question first. Did you still? Yeah.
The death doula thing seems newish. Is there and then you mentioned other places in the world that you would consult with and collaborate with. Is there somewhere in the world, because the topic of death is very we don't talk about it. Yeah. Is there somewhere in the world that's very a model example of
yeah.
we aspire to be?
And I'll just clarify, the around the world stuff, that's the mediumship stuff. I'm only legally able to be a death doula for people in Canada. Oh, okay. So I don't help people in the States. I might talk with people, but I can't be their death doula. I can only be a death doula for anyone in Canada. Right. But in terms of people being more open, yes, absolutely. There's different cultures. Again, it's the cultures though that are the most open that really don't need death doulas, because they do it within their community. They don't, but it's the ones like ours where death is such a taboo topic. We're not around people who are dying, because before, many years ago, death happened in the home and people were involved. Right. Now it's so closed off and people have no idea what to expect. So the places in the world, that maybe more indigenous cultures or other ones like that, they don't necessarily need a death doula because they're quite well versed.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, up front again.
I wanted to say that my mom passed away a few years ago from cancer, and it was terrible. She didn't know what her options were, and she was very unhappy with what was happening, and it was terrible. So thinking back on that, I would have been so grateful to know you were a really big benefit to us.
I'm so sorry about that, and I do hear that a lot because people don't know what they don't know in the moment, and you're going through it, and you just feel like you're lost, and you just don't know how would you know the options? And that's the thing is I tell people because they feel like they should know, and it's like, no, it's my role to know, and I'm going to help you, and then it helps you to just be present with your loved one. I'm sorry you had to navigate it like that, though.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. I would assume when you're dealing with families, like, is it the families that contact you, or is it the patient that requests?
It can be either. Often it's the families because obviously the person who's dying might be in the hospital. Usually they contact me when the person is receiving treatment or just getting diagnosed. Other times it is the person who's dying,
Okay.
but it really depends. But I'd say probably 75% of the time it's the family that contacts me first.
Okay, interesting. And how long ago, I can't remember if I asked this, how long have you been doing the service for Death Doula?
The Death Doula work has been just over 6 years.
Oh, okay, nice. Oh, yes,
Sorry.
that's okay.
It's a good thing there's not too many people. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. So I think you're in a really unique position to speak to this as a medium and a death doula. I've seen on YouTube people, nurses, palliative care nurses, talking about things that happen quite often at deaths. As a medium, is there certain things that you see quite consistently at deaths?
Yes, so again, it depends on the person and depends on the environment, depends how much support they have and all of that, because that affects the energy, right? So when someone is around, like their family, because often when someone is on a trajectory towards natural death and, going through active dying, in the days leading up to that, they might start talking about their parents, like, oh, mom's there, and they're talking about stuff. But when their loved ones shut them down and say it's a hallucination, which definitely is not, a visitation is very different, then they kind of keep it to themselves and the energy just gets a bit subdued. But if everything's going really well, then the energy changes really close to death, and it's like time doesn't exist anymore in that room, and it feels it's just very peaceful and light. And again, not to make death sound like this wonderful, great thing all the time, but certainly our bodies and our spirits are programmed to die, and it knows how to die naturally, and it knows how to make it as peaceful as possible when the time comes. But that's something that we forget and we don't talk about, so people still worry about it. But in the room, yes, if you're able to be sensitive enough to it and you pay attention, it can be just filled with love. It can be really amazing, yeah.
And also, like, say in a hospital setting where you provide the service and you have the loved ones and, the person that's dying and all that, with hospitals having so much energy, right? Do you ever find that there are times when you get intrusive energy that's not supposed to be there, like?
No, I'm really good at what I do.
Okay,
no.
I'm just curious because, just because there's so much death in hospitals of people that maybe just haven't crossed over, right? Because they're confused,
we
they're
have
lost.
to remember that, and not to cut you off, but we have to remember, we forget that we've done this a lot. So it might seem confusing for a moment, but then their loved ones are there and their guides, and no one is ever left behind. No one ever dies alone. And that's one of the things I like to reiterate to people very often, especially as a death doula, or even the people that are grieving, because they feel very guilty that they didn't get there on time. But sometimes the loved ones, they don't know that they have to die alone. Sometimes people just need everyone to leave the room to take that final step because it's very personal.
Right.
And everyone feels guilty, but I tell them no, they didn't know they needed it, but that's what they needed to go.
Right.
But no, our loved ones meet us, our guides meet us. We are never alone, and the second we kind of make that transition, it's like,
right.
I remember this. Okay, we're done with that one, and then they kind of keep going.
And I think that sometimes happens too, when you hear these stories, somebody's sat by the bedside of their mother or their father for days on end.
Yeah.
They go grab a coffee and then they die.
Yes,
right?
very common, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's probably a sign that they didn't want to put their loved one through that grief.
Yeah, it's sometimes, it's that last act of protection, even though, and then the people feel almost robbed of it because they're like, I tried to be there. But we have to remember, like, we don't know what we need until we need it, and sometimes it's just such a private, personal step for some people, and they just have to take that last step on their own.
For sure.
And so I tell people not to feel guilty about that, actually to feel like, almost maybe not happy for their loved one, but to be understanding, to forgive them for that.
Right.
Because they don't mean anything personal by it. It's just
Right.
dying is a personal thing.
Yeah. Oh, question?
Just one more question.
No, as many as you want.
When my baba was passing, her brother came to visit her in the hospital, and he was a priest, and he just came to say goodbye to his sister. The amount of people that came up to him and were like, "Can you please come to intensive care, please?"
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
and it was he just got surrounded because we were in palliative care. Do you find that when people know you're a death doula, is that happening to you at these places?
Well, most of the time, people hire me because they try to die at home. So if someone's in a facility, it's usually because something changed in the plans. So that hasn't happened so much yet. But when I do go into facilities with clients, the people that come to me are the nurses and the healthcare aides, because they're so intrigued, like, what do you do? And so they just want to know more about it. But yeah, it's not like I wear a big, like, there's nothing that distinguishes me as a death doula. So no, I don't have that so much, but I could understand that happening.
Yeah, I assumed that you had been integrated in with the staff, but speaking to a lot of birth doulas, they're not integrated with the staff either. It's like a roulette wheel on whether or not the nurses are going to be nice to them.
Oh.
They find that there may be they're butting heads. Does that ever happen to you?
I could see that with births, but deaths, people are a bit more like, oh, good, you can handle it, because everyone's kind of scared. And so honestly, people have just been interested more than anything. So far, I mean, you never know, but more than anything, because we're not dealing with the medical side of it. So if they want to help with that, the only thing that might change is if someone is going into active dying in a facility, I will make recommendations for the staff to stop doing certain things, because sometimes they can inadvertently, and well-intentioned as it may be, it can disturb the process and cause it to last a lot longer. So I might make suggestions to the family, but other than that, there's really no room to butt heads, because my role is much more on the emotional, mental, spiritual level.
Yes, question.
Advisor more than anything.
I'm sorry?
Like an advisor more than anything.
Well, a guide. I'm just a guide.
A guide.
I'm not leading the way, I'm just walking beside them.
May I ask if you have a specific guide or multiple guides?
Like spirit guides, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, everyone has about 7 spirit guides around them. So spirit guides are spirits just like us, only currently not incarnated. So no, they're not like loved ones that you knew in this life, and they're not famous people. So when I do readings, your guides will come forward, and like each of them has a different role. So usually when I do connect to somebody at the beginning, it's always on the psychic level, meaning that I'll pick up on like emotions or physical sensations that are going on around you or within you. And then the guide that might have the most guidance about that will come forward, and it's just as important to validate guides as it is loved ones. So they'll tell me things that are very private to you, things that you've thought or gone through that very few, if any, other person would know, and then they offer guidance. But yes, I know my guides. We all have a team of guides, and I guess an important thing to understand about spirit guides is that because when I say, we have several of them that have a responsibility to our path, or that they're connected with us, it's important to remember they're not like literally following us around like a row of ducks or anything. They don't care what we're going to watch on Netflix. They're connected with us, and they help us as needed, and all of that.
I think my guides are very exhausted at this point. I think they're just done with me. That's just my own opinion. Anyway.
How do you decompress from all the emotional
Oh yeah, good question.
stuff that you deal with, because it seems pretty extreme?
Well, others might, I'm also a very busy mom, so I don't actually get a lot of time to decompress. But when I can, I do try to do physical, exercise. It helps to ground me.
Meditation, I guess.
I don't have a lot of time for meditation, and my meditations are really quick. But even just like exercise, like breathing exercises, qigong, tai chi, yoga, that kind of thing. When I can, if I can, I love to play the piano, but that's rare when I have time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you find that there's one gender or the other that is more likely to use your services?
For the death doula work, I find that usually, for some reason, my clients who are dying tend to be female. more than anything, but not always. I mean, there's definitely a mix, but for some reason that has been the case more so than not. For readings and such, it's everyone's interested in connecting with spirit.
Nice. Any other questions? You guys have been great helping us out. No, nothing? No. Okay, well, I guess at this point we'd like to thank Michelle for coming out and having some honest and candid conversations. I mean, I know you don't like to be put in the spotlight, but at least we got rid of that. So in saying that, but thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your experience and skills with us. We truly are grateful for that.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And do you want to remind everybody best ways to get a hold of you?
Yeah, so if you look up the Spirit Guided Path or Death Doulas of Manitoba, I'm pretty easy to find, and I'm just, again, grateful to do this work. For anyone that is looking for Death Doula services, I always offer a free 30-minute consultation, so you can tell me what's going on, and I can offer some suggestions and resources, and then we can decide if you'd like to move forward with that help. And yeah, that's about it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Well, since today is not really a typical